with more of what you need to know. Tune in Saturday mornings at 9 for Health is Wealth Live with Dr. Bruce Hedendahl on South Florida's Health and Wealth Network, AM 1470, WNN.
You served your country. Now the Veterans Crisis Line is here to serve you. If you're a veteran in crisis or know a veteran who is, help is available. Call the Veterans Crisis Line today at 1-800-273-8255 and press 1, or chat online at www.veteranscrisisline.net. It's your call.
When it comes to your health, nobody does it better. South Florida's Health and Wealth Radio, AM 1470, WNN.
Here's some great news from Tom Trento, host of the daily WNN Trento Vision Show. Due to the unparalleled success of the Trento Vision Show, you now have an amazing opportunity to advertise on the Trento Vision Show. If you want more information about this excellent opportunity for your business, please contact Tom Trento at 561-319-5533, or you can email him, tom@trentovision.tv. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to Trento Vision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Trento Vision is hosted by Tom Trento. Tom can be reached at 561-319-5533 or tom@trentovision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and trentovision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Recording? Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Big lead in on this thing. Come on, what is this? Here we go. All right. Keep it going. Keep it going. We got to get to the chorus. Told them you were living downtown, driving all the old men crazy. The boys are back in town, and the girl.
Well, she never left.
That's right. The boys are back in town.
Boys are back in town.
All right, a hand for the boys being back in town, safe and sound.
All right.
We all went our separate ways.
Yep.
With a unified task, and we're back in town. But the girl never left. The girl is here. There she is right there. We had another boy.
It's a boy.
We had a boy man. He is like a little boy. I mean, he was saying that. At one point, Peter said, I'm really a little kid. And you go, you are, Peter,
Yeah.
you know. And he is. If he's listening, Peter Feynman, I thank him
He's probably working.
for doing a great job on Friday.
Yes.
You guys did a fabulous job filling in for moi,
For Vu.
who was in South Carolina, where I was signing in the book signing line. We sold Sharia: The Threat to America. Mm-hmm. We had 4 of us. It was me, Frank Gaffney, Ambassador Henry Cooper, and then Ben Smith, the SEAL.
Kind of a slouchy panel.
Yeah. And we let Ben sign our book. He was like an honorary member. But I think more people were there to get his signature than anything. But at one point, I knew I was in South Carolina because a lady says to me, I always ask them. I ask them a couple of questions so I can make it personal, the signing. And she goes, I don't do this for my husband. I said, okay, yeah, what's his name? She said, Dole. I said, what is his name? Dole, and I'm thinking of a pineapple, right? D-O-L-E. I said, I never heard that name before, right? But I'm in South Carolina.
Right.
So I said, how do you spell Dole? She goes, D-O-Y-L-E. I said, oh, Doyle. She goes, yeah, Dole. I said, okay. And I wrote, I think I wrote Dole instead of Doyle. But I knew I was in South Carolina when
You know you're in South Carolina when you have grits for supper.
oh God, the food was so bad.
The food was bad?
I don't think I like, notwithstanding my Jewish compatriot here, I love bacon, right? And the resort had, typical buffet, and they had bacon that it was all broken up, and I said, let me try it. And as I'm walking to my seat, I chewed on a little piece, and I almost
That bad?
oh my God, it was sitting in grease or something.
They do that.
And I found a napkin. I walked on the side. I had to spit this whole thing out of my mouth. That was disgusting. But apart from that, it was a fabulous weekend at the South Carolina Tea Party Convention at the Spring Maid Resort. So Spring Maid, clean up your bacon and everything will be okay. All right, you put on a good show, except for that bacon. But we all are back in town. I was away, and we're going to talk about the event. Some of the speakers that were there. Mm-hmm. Tim Scott, he's a senator now for 11 days, I think he is. Jim DeMint was one of the senators in South Carolina, and he moved on. He resigned. He moved on to the Heritage Foundation, which will be great. And then the governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley, sharp lady, She was supposed to be there. She couldn't make it. You know why she couldn't make it?
Why?
Her husband got called to Afghanistan. He's in the service. He deployed. So she had to stay this week with the kids and all of that. But she put a beautiful video together and gave a video message. But Tim Scott was there. And I'll get into a little more of it later.
Well, I'd like to see Nikki Haley run for president.
Well, she's pretty sharp. Tim Scott is, I think, my new hero.
Really?
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. He's 47 years old, tremendous background, and he was selected by Nikki Haley as the interim senator with Lindsey Graham. And he came in. They had recruited. Ben was there on Saturday speaking with us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Smith, former Navy SEAL, dishonorable disclosures, all of that. Ben's about 6'4", maybe
he's tall,
240, maybe 6'5", 240. Just he's chiseled out of muscle, right? Though he said he's in the worst shape of his life. And he's the kind of guy that when I was a running back, in my running back days, I would like to run behind. In
my linebacker days, I used to tackle people like him.
Yeah, well, he's a stud. He spoke on Saturday, and then they were a little shy on significant security for Sunday for some of the dignitaries. Mm-hmm. They had a couple of
so
sheriffs.
They recruited him?
A couple of potbelly sheriffs there, right?
Bubba.
And somebody had
Bubba
the good sense to say, we better get somebody that can threaten people here.
Uh-huh.
And they recruited Ben Smith to be security for Senator Scott.
Navy SEAL is a good recruitment tool.
Well, he was the bodyguard for the provisional government, the deputy prime minister in Iraq. Mm-hmm. Going out, driving him to Starbucks in Iraq and all those places.
Yeah, living off an oil rag for 3 days.
But you know what he also did, Ben? We spent the whole 2-3 days with him. Do you remember you're scum, you're no good, you're lowlifes, you're scum, you're crazy? You remember Andrew Breitbart yelling at the Occupy people?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We all thought Andrew just lost it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He did lose, and he died a week later.
Not related, I don't think.
No, but I mean his blood pressure. Yeah, scum, yeah. He's screaming and yelling. Well, it turned out that Ben was his security guard.
Oh.
And spent a lot of time with Andrew Breitbart. And he said, if you look at the video, you'll see the confrontation of Andrew Breitbart, who is now deceased just about a year. You'll see him yelling at the Occupy people, and then somebody steps in and grabs Andrew like this and goes, "Come on, let's go!" And it's Ben. And
really?
Yeah, you can pull the video up right now with Andrew Breitbart yelling at the Occupy people. Probably wouldn't be bad to show. See if you can find that, Mike.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Andrew Breitbart
And
yelling at
Occupy
Occupy people. And we'll see our buddy Ben Smith stepping in and, come on, Andrew, let's go. So Ben goes, I'm back in the security business here. But anyway, it was a fabulous 3 days up in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Tea Party, I'll report right now. The Tea Party is alive and well. The audience wasn't as large as they would have hoped for. Quality of the people was amazing, and we'll get into the particulars of that. And then, what does it mean when you're speaking? I'm asking you guys. What does it mean when you're speaking and the audience just stands up and starts making a lot of noise? What does that mean?
What does that mean? They like you?
Standing ovation.
Oh, standing ovation. Oh, that's what I got. Oh, okay. I got several of those.
But you always do.
Oh, I got several of those, I guess. And I'll tell you why the audience rose to their feet. I'll go through
because
some of.
Because you were giving out free stuff.
Actually, it was pretty tough stuff I was handing out.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
We'll go through that. Then we'll go through some of the speakers. They hit Agenda 21 very hard. Second Amendment. Tim Scott in his messages, he concluded. I'm hearing somebody. Oh, that's that thing.
Yeah.
Tim Scott concluded his message. He goes, I got one more thing to tell you. He's a preacher, right? He said, I wanted to be a preacher. He gets up there, he grabbed the crowd immediately. He goes, I wanted to be a preacher, but I got into politics. But right now, let's pray. He gets on his knee. Dear Lord, he says, like a black preacher.
Like a revival meeting.
It was like a revival meeting. He had the crowd,
Well, that's what you guys. That's what this country needs is one big revival meeting.
And that was my focus to give the Tea Party attendees some hope to change. So we'll go through all of that stuff. It was fabulous. But then you guys, these boys,
Right.
Invisible Mike and Disembodied Mark, what did you guys do over the weekend?
Nothing.
Okay. What did you do, CJ? Okay, we got a 3-minute show today, folks.
No, it was a fabulous event. We went up there, and it was in essence apologists and polemics, polemicists coming up there and actually.
What was it? What was the event?
It was to raise the awareness of Islam and how to counteract it in the Christian community. And
Christian event. Okay.
Yep. So it was a very fabulous event. Many fabulous speakers there. Some just people that actually blew me away, as far as their knowledge on the whole issue of Islam and how to defeat it, and just fantastic information. We can go into more detail a little bit, but it was absolutely fabulous.
We will do that. You have the schedule, so we can kind of go through the speakers. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. What we did, folks, and what the focus is for those of you just tuning in, we haven't even introduced ourselves yet. Oops. But we're gaining more and more viewers each and every day. I brought 500 obsessions to the event, and we put a little flyer in there. We gave them away for free. They all went. They're all gone. And the little flyer said ways you can follow up from this event. And one of them was to watch this show. And I know we're gaining new viewers watching the show. And on the listening side, we know it's growing too. You had a little experience. What happened with you over the weekend?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was sitting at a restaurant with my mother, and I saw some friends of ours outside. They were at the restaurant next door. And I went out to say hi. And they said, CJ, you're not going to believe this. We were just talking about you. And they had all been talking at dinner about Trento Vision and how they watch and listen to the show, and so do their friends, and
cool.
I was like, wow.
Good, yeah.
Even when they can't listen to all 3 hours, they at least listen to 1 or 2, and sometimes they go back and listen, to part 2 or 3 if they missed it, and.
Yes,
I thought that was really cool.
The bug. We don't call us a bug. The antidote to the problem, us, is growing more and more and more. And 1 or 2 of you have made me aware of the fact that on Ustream, the archive isn't playing. And that
we're actually fixing that.
What was it?
It's
It's being
Yeah,
fixed. Okay.
it's actually
'Cause
we actually have it fixed. We're actually getting ready to launch the new website here shortly.
Oh, cool.
And so, which is going to have some neat little archives to it, which you can do an archive search, radio, MP3, all the above. So we're actually upgrading the site to something very more significant.
Excellent. Just when we're running out of money.
This one running.
How
Hey,
good that is.
woo! And we're also launching a whole new Facebook site too. Woo!
How good that is. So, see you in 20 years, you know. Speaking of money, there's two ways you could help keep this on the air. And what we are for those
and
of
what
you
is this?
tuning
This
in.
online extravaganza.
It's called Trento Vision, and we have a couple of subheads to that: National Security Radio, or we make jihad fun. That's sort of an interesting.
Oxymoron.
Interesting term. Essentially, we started this show on September 3rd, Labor Day 2012, and we basically we own our time, and we pay for our time either through donations that we receive or through selling advertising. And those are the two ways you can seriously help. If you want us to advertise your product, we will do that, and that helps tremendously.
And your product can be an idea or a service. It doesn't have to be an actual product that I get to taste first.
That's right, like Organigold. Tom Hayes has been calling me, and I haven't been able to hook up with him, and so we have to contact him today.
Yes,
so.
we do, because I'm...
You're out of coffee.
Yes, I'm out of coffee.
And so or if you have, you could be a physician, you could be, this is a health and wealth station. So people that tune into WNN usually are looking for some information or guidance on Prevacet. What's the name of that stuff?
Yeah, Prevacet.
Prevacet. Brain food. We're brain food too. Okay, you don't have to take any pills with us. All you have to do is listen and watch. But we're on 3 to 6 now every day. We started September 3rd, 2012. 2 months, basically to attack this administration's national security policies, and to pulverize their view, their ideas as ideas that are disruptive to the West and deadly to the West, and in particular to Israel. We made that point factually. We made it with the analytical material. This is September, October, to the election, November 6th. We made it with phenomenal guest experts that we had on. We made it with our team, which is extremely well informed on these issues. And we had an impact, a very extremely strong impact in our listening area that was measurable by an increase in Republican votes over 4 years ago, when in fact everywhere else there was a decrease in Republican votes. So along with the Republican Jewish Committee and some of the RNC stuff, and we know we made a significant impact. Because of that, it was suggested we stay on the air. We raised some money to do that, and we're on the air now, and we're refining, and we went from 1 hour a day to 3 hours a day, 3 to 6 drive time. Signal WNN 1470 goes from North Miami to, he's here?
He's got to go.
From North Miami to almost to Orlando, through Fort Pierce, all of this, and we're here. We're here. Our objectives are to defend the Constitution, to defend the State of Israel, to defend itself, and to defeat Islam as an ideology that's destructive to the West. One of the people that went with Mark and Mike to the Christian Summit on Islam is our good friend Alan Kornman. Are you with us, Alan?
Yes, Tom.
Hi,
Okay.
Alan.
Hello.
Oh, he
Glad
was.
to see each and every one of you. Thank you for having me on.
I told Mark to give you a big kiss for me, did he?
Yeah.
Thank goodness, no.
Thank goodness, no.
It's been traumatic. I may not have been able to recover, but thank you for the kind thought.
You need a gallon of Purex.
Oh, Alan's actually immune to me.
Yeah, you guys have
It's
been
been
traveling
it's been
together
a
too
week-
long.
That's
a week in Israel. Right?
you know that, Mike.
You know that story.
We all travel together, and we usually Mike and I stay in a room, Alan and Mark, and everybody has sort of their roomies.
CJ gets her own room.
Yeah, CJ gets her own room. And Mark, on occasion, is sick.
When I get
Sneezing
sick,
and
I
coughing
get
and
sick.
hacking and all of this.
Incubus.
And on our trip to Israel, there was 10 of us. 9 of us got sick from Mark, except for Alan, who was staying with him. So he stayed with him
So he built up an immunity of the Mark cooties.
for so many years that we said, you're immune to him now. We've got to take you up to the Mayo Clinic. You know what? I had a woman drove me today, a physician, from the hotel to the airport. Mm-hmm. I said, what do you think of Obamacare? And she starts going, it's unbelievably bad, all of that. She said, do you know there's more MRI machines in the Mayo Clinic system than all of Canada?
Yeah.
Than all of Canada.
That's right.
Well, also, yeah, but if you think about it, the Mayo Clinic system probably has more patients than Canada
Than all
has
of Canada.
population.
Well, let's see what our patient Alan has for a report. What's your report, Alan, on your weekend at the Summit on Islam?
Well, Tom, it was very interesting. Mike, Mark, Karen Vaughn, and I, we went to the Ravi Zacharias International Ministries presented a summit on Islam in Orlando, Florida. It was attended by over 200 people from all over the country. Some came in as far as Pakistan and Afghanistan. And the primary thrust of the Summit on Islam was unique in the sense that it was teaching Christians how to minister to Muslims. It was almost there's a thing called dawah, which is Muslim proselytizing to everybody. And here, the Christians were learning how to minister to the Muslims. It was very interesting, a lot of good speakers, a lot of former Muslims, and it was an eye-opening experience, and me not being a Christian gave me a unique perspective on the whole event, as well as Mike and Mark as well.
Well, let me ask you this. Muslims have their evangelism, dawah, D-A-W-A. That's their mandate to turn everybody into either Muslims or submissive to Islam, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so this was a conference on training Christians to understand dawah and counter it, like kind of counter dawah stuff, and then proselytize or something?
Yeah, it was more along the lines of Christians learning how to interact with Muslims and explain to them Christianity and the Christian doctrine as they understand it, and enlighten them and create dialogues. The whole underpinning of the whole summit was to share information from the angle of love and compassion rather than direct confrontation.
Oh, man. 888-565-1470. Tom Trento with CJ. Hang on. CJ, Mark, Mike, and Al. How much time do you have, Alan, so I can work the clock here?
I've got about another 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay, so we'll take you to 25 to 40 to 20 of, and we'll build a lot of stuff. Then we'll spin off with you guys. What was I going to say?
No, he's talking about the love and compassion and everything. But it wasn't just the love and compassion, component of everything. Also, there was more of a doctrinal understanding of what Islam was and how it's antithetic to Christianity and to anybody else of the Christian faith.
Oh, I was giving the phone number. That's what I forgot what I was doing. If you want to get in on this conversation, and the conversation with CJ, Mark, Mike, Alan, and these three guys, and Karen Vaughn, for those of you who remember Karen Vaughn, her son Aaron, SEAL Team 6, Navy SEAL, killed August 6, 2011 in that helicopter shoot down by the Taliban. Karen's a Christian. And she picked up where her warrior son has left off, and she's fighting this battle all over the place. If you want to get in on the conversation and ask about this summit, give us a call, 888-565-1470. So, Alan, go ahead. Continue with your presentation, and we'll spin off.
Well, you, of course, are much more knowledgeable in the Christian doctrine than I am, but I'm going to focus on the one part that I found particularly interesting, and that was the cost for Muslims to leave Islam? Because that's an angle that most people don't think about is, well, how does leaving Islam for a Muslim, how does that impact them and impact their lives? And that is one of the most strongest components that Nabil Qureshi, a former Muslim, explained, is that the cost for a Muslim to leave Islam is very, very high. And that is one of the primary or one of the main reasons that keeps Muslims from converting to another faith or no faith at all. And the very
Do you mean financial cost, or do you mean physical risk?
Well, hang on. Use the word financial. I just got an email
Yeah.
from an individual who I won't say his name,
Okay.
though it's I guess it's public. He just donated money to the United West, an important weekly video site for all those who care to protect our country as well as support Israel from the silent creeping of Sharia law in the United States. Tom Trento is a solid, proven American patriot. As we're talking, somebody just made a donation in the thing. Thank you,
Thank
Robert.
you.
I'll use your first name. Now, you can be like Robert, and you can make a donation on TrentoVision.tv or theunitedwest.org.
And I will bake you cookies.
There you go. We owe Robert a cookie. But CJ asked the financial question. That's nice when you see these things pop in. What is the cost to the Muslim who says, I'm out of here, whether it's, I don't want to believe anything anymore, or I want to believe Christianity or Judaism, whatever he wants to believe?
Well, here it's a great question, because here in America, faith is a very personal type of thing, whether you're Christian or Hindu or Jewish, it doesn't matter. We have freedom of religion here in the United States. And that freedom of religion is instilled in us from the day that we're born to respect someone's faith. It's a personal matter. If you leave one faith or go to another, yeah, your family might get a little upset, but they're still going to love you at the end of the day.
Right.
For Muslims to leave Islam, and the cost that I was talking to and that Nabil was going into greater detail at this summit, is 9 times out of 10, the family will disown the person who leaves Islam because it's personally offensive to go back on the word of Allah. So the family will disown the child or the adult for that matter. Islamic doctrine and theology has a law for apostates, which is the personal harm, that if someone should leave Islam, then they can be killed. And this is part of strict Islamic jurisprudence. The other cost, and that is the hardest cost for a Muslim in most cases, is that Islam is such a part of their soul and their identity that all of a sudden their community disowns them, similar to what happened to Rifka Berry. Their community will disown them. They will lose all their business contacts, their family contacts, and essentially they get kicked off the island. Like in
They're ostracized.
Survivor. They're off the island. They're on their own. And that is a very, you combine all those elements, you put them together, the personal safety, the financial cost, the loss of your family, all for choosing a different faith, is something that is unique to any other religious doctrine that I'm aware of anywhere around the world. And I found that so compelling and so fascinating.
Well, to highlight what you were saying, Alan, is when we were talking to Nabil, and he was during his speech, he was saying he told the worst, imaginable thing he could do was tell his family that he was leaving Islam, to the point where when he did finally tell his father looked at him, he goes, "You have ripped the spine out of my soul," and has very little contact with him, very little interaction with him from now on. They're in essence ostracized. They are dead to these people when they leave Islam, and that's the real cost. And it's right in the Islamic doctrine. I mean, the apostasy, you can take it literally or emotionally, but apostates must be killed. Well, in a family situations, they are killed. Not physically, but emotionally, they're just devastated from everybody around them.
So, what is the Christian solution for this? As you guys understood it from the conference?
Well, what the church needs to do and where the church is lacking, with the consensus, is that Christians need to understand that when they are ministering to Muslims and they do convert, that they need to essentially become their new family. And that is a unique concept for the church. And that is something that they need to learn and then embrace, because not only are you gaining a convert, you're gaining a new family member. And Tom can attest to this because he's very knowledgeable in apologetics and Christian doctrine, but a lot of the churches are not set up to bring in people and literally provide a new universe for them. Is that essentially?
Yeah, exactly,
Is
Alan.
that right, Tom?
Yes, absolutely right. Go ahead, caller. You can use the shot mic. Yes, there is, and there's very good reasons for that. But I'll mark a note. If you could mark a note as to why there's no infrastructure for Islam for Christians, I'll explain that in detail later. But we want to get as much as we can from you, your analysis, because you have to go. You're speaking tonight. Where are you speaking? Maybe we can get some folks to attend your presentation.
Well, I'll be speaking at the Village's Tea Party group in Lady Lake. In fact, you were scheduled to speak there, but you were out of town, so they graciously let me fill in, and you let me fill in, and I'll be speaking to them tonight on political Islam, and then setting the foundation for that for when Patrick Poole speaks there next month on the Muslim Brotherhood.
Beautiful. I got 14 standing ovations, so that's the goal that is set for you, okay? So you have to get 15 standing ovations, okay?
You have set the bar awful high.
One little funny thing.
Wait. All you got to do in a tea party for a standing ovation is say, Obama sucks. Standing ovation. Obama is an idiot. Standing ovation. That's all you have to do, Alan. It's pretty simple.
So you have to show
I can
up.
do that. That's easy.
But you might have a tougher audience.
One little funny thing happened with Alan while he was there at the conference. Is you had quite a few people come and approach you and ask you about your Jewishness. Can you tell a couple of little?
You
funny...
need Jesus, Alan. You need Jesus right now.
But go ahead.
I kind of felt like the raisin in the oatmeal.
I never heard that before.
The raisin in the oatmeal.
That's pretty good. That's almost as good as Peter the other day saying to Mark. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For lack of a better analogy.
That's good.
I was. A lot of people were fascinated that someone who was Jewish was there at a Christian missionary summit, and the reason, for me, it wasn't that amazing, because bringing Muslims, when they leave Islam, the natural place for them to go is to Christianity. And I am all in favor of Muslims leaving Islam and finding a home within the Christian church and the Christian doctrine. I think it's a beautiful transition for them and for their lives. And I've seen so many Muslims that were there that are now happy. Just you can sense the sense of ease within their soul, and they're so comfortable within their skin. And these are just very happy people, and I think that is a wonderful thing, and I promote that. So for me, it wasn't anything that extraordinary.
Yeah, because I think what they're fearing is that old school thought that, Jewish people won't talk to Christians because they're afraid that the Christians are going to try to convert the Jews, and I don't think that's actually out there anymore. That used to be as far as
It's there.
No, it's there.
But I'm just saying not on that level that you're talking about.
Not with us. I mean, not in our little community, but
right.
It's there. It's definitely there. And I'll explain how to deal with that too.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a great observation. The raisin in the oatmeal. That's pretty good.
The raisin in the oatmeal. I like that.
Yeah, it's almost as good as Peter the other day say, put a tent over this circus, referring to Mark. Put a tent over this circus. All right, so you're speaking there tonight. What time do you start?
The meeting starts at 6, and I'll be speaking until 7:30. and then there'll be a Q&A, and it should be very interesting and looking forward to it. And I hope that anyone who's listening in the area will come out to the villages, to the Tea Party meeting, and come on out. And Muslims, I encourage you to go and to challenge me. And to ask me
Villages, I love
questions.
that.
Yeah.
What is the? How can they reach you? You got a number? Or you want them to call me, and I can put them in touch with you, or what? People want to go?
Yeah, they can call the show, and actually having some Muslims call the show would be very interesting too. To have some dialogue and some debate. Because
All right, or send
unless
Tom.
we talk to each other, we will never be able to find common ground and build bridges, and that's
Building bridges.
that is
Oh,
the
gosh.
essence of why we're here on the planet. And yeah,
Oh.
I agree.
Why we're here on the planet?
Yeah, I don't know.
You've been around
Yeah,
Christians
what are you
too long.
drinking?
man.
Yeah. What's in your
The loving planet.
What's in your cup of tea? What
Go-
is political?
Hang on.
Yeah.
Tom at TrentoVision.tv. Send me a note if you'd like to go tonight. We'll hook you up with Alan and tell you where it's at. This is in the Orlando area, correct, Alan? Because when people say the villages, you guys who live there know where it is. Geographically, where's the villages in the state of Florida?
It's about an hour east of Orlando,
Oh,
going up 508. You just take that up to Lady Lake, and it's the villages. It's a very large retirement community, and it's an hour outside of Orlando.
Beautiful. Okay. What is your main thrust? Simply stated, what are you going to be? What's the point
what
you
is
want to get off?
political Islam? For any,
Well,
how are you quickly defining that?
Well, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and explain to the Tea Party people how Muslims view Islam,
You got a
how
Sharia?
they see Islam, and how they do it in five seconds is that the Quran, they believe that the Quran is God's word. All the way, everything in that book, down to the last letter. It was from God. It was transmitted to the angel Gabriel, transmitted then to Muhammad. It is a pure text. It is the word of God, supersedes all other documents. And from that, it is a totalitarian ideology in the sense that Islam, jurisprudence, Islam, Islamic law, Sharia, dictates how Muslims are supposed to behave, but it also dictates how non-Muslims are how they control themselves, what they are allowed to do, what they are not allowed to do. And it is one of the few faiths where politics and religion are intertwined like a woven cloth, and they cannot be separated. And those doctrines impact every other faith or no faith at all outside of Islam. And that totalitarian ideology is incompatible with our U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights. So when you get into the political sphere, it does become problematic because it does actually, it's incompatible with the Constitution and Bill of Rights, and that is culturally, that is a problem, as we've seen in other countries, and it is here in the United States as well.
Cool. Very cool. Okay.
That was
Questions for
really-
Alan
no,
before
that
we
was,
let him go?
That was my question. That was really well put. Yeah.
Excellent. Are you videotaping this?
It may, they said that it's going to be on live stream, so they'll be videotaping it. You may even be able to
Do you happen to know the live stream?
find it on
Yeah.
live.
Why don't you tell us that? I mean, everybody could watch it. What is send us the link or tell us so we can promote
So
it
we
and
can
watch
promote
it.
it. Yeah.
And watch
Well,
it.
this
Are you
is
kidding
what
me?
This is what they told me. They're working on the technology now. They said that it's
Oh, okay.
so it's not 100%.
I've been there before.
How about 1%?
One
Okay,
other-
so that's
one
going to
other
be a little
interesting
more
point.
complicated than iHeartRadio.
Yes, it's true.
Tom, when I tell
Well,
you,
Tom, one other interesting point at the summit
Work.
is that there were several people that were aware of Trento Vision and the work that you're doing
Really?
with the United West. And there are a lot of people that are very happy with the work that you're doing, and that they want to help the United West. They watch Trento Vision, and they support your work, which was very, very, I was very glad to hear that.
Did you tell them to write checks?
How much do they want
How
to support
glad
our
were
work?
you to hear that?
How happy are No, look.
Well, they
we're-
didn't put a dollar cost on it, unfortunately.
Okay.
Well, through the years, I mean, all of us here you included, obviously, have been doing this for a long time. And with this new administration just days away from an inauguration, people are seeing that we are right in our analysis, that this administration is collaborating with the Muslim Brotherhood to encircle Israel, to infiltrate the USA, and to destroy Western civilization as we know it. People are seeing that, and we're on the cutting edge of all of this. So, more and more people are going to listen to what we have to say. And I love seeing the integration now of serious Christians on a one-to-one basis with Muslims, because it's just another element in an overall war, ideological war against Islam, to have Muslims have an out, a theological out, if they choose to do that. And look, we don't hate Muslims, even though people think we hate Muslims. We don't. We hate the doctrine of Islam that is antithetic, as Mark says, or antithetical to American jurisprudence. And somebody's got to defend the Constitution. That's what we do. We don't believe that foreign laws or foreign ideologies should impact and affect this culture. We have a unique culture. We want it to stay this way. And why? Because everywhere that you have seen Islam takes root, it's deadly, destructive, dangerous, and deceptive.
We just don't want to live under Sharia law.
No,
End of statement
Yeah,
right
it
there.
is
That's
simple,
it.
you
We
know?
don't want to live under Sharia. That's it. If
And
you want
guess
to
what?
live under Sharia, go live in Iran, go live in Saudi Arabia, go live in Syria, go live in Turkey, go live anywhere in the Middle East
You got
except for
56 choices.
Israel.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't want to live under Christian law. We don't want to live under Jewish law. I'm a Christian. I don't want to live under Christian law like in the Middle Ages where the church controlled the state. That's a mistake. A religion is a personal relationship with God, should be on that level, and you influence government in a moral way by changing the minds of people, not by ruling from a biblical perspective, though my Orthodox Jewish rabbi friends may disagree with me regarding the state of Israel, but that's another discussion.
That's another
Yes,
discussion,
yes.
yeah.
So, all right, Alan, thank you. We know you have to run and get ready
Thank
and
you, and
prepare.
good luck tonight.
Oh, well, thank
If you have
and
time
thanks,
tomorrow,
thanks for
call
having
in
me
and tell
on,
us how it went.
And thanks for giving us the opportunity to go. Mark and Mike will be able to fill you in, and Karen, on more of the details from the summit. And it was an outstanding event and a lot to be learned.
Excellent. Yeah, we're gonna
Cool.
when we let you go, we're gonna do a few little commercials, and then we're gonna have Mike and Mark do their little presentation. So the boys who are back can get ready. All
Boys
right.
are back in town.
We shall see you, Alan Kornman. Thank you very
All right.
much.
Thank you.
Send us that
Thank
link.
you very much. Keep up the good work, and the show is fantastic.
Thanks. Send the make-believe live stream link, okay?
Will do. All right.
All right.
Bye.
All right. So Peter Feynman was here. That's Alan Kornman. He went with Mike and Mark and Karen Vaughn to the Summit on Islam at Orlando at a church, 200 people. We're going to hear more about that. But right now, Peter Feynman was here Friday with you.
Yes,
you guys
he
did a
was.
great job.
Thank you. We
Who
tried.
is Peter Feynman?
Peter Feynman is a Palm Beach County attorney. He is the national committeeman for Florida to the RNC in Washington, and he will be going there in about a week.
Nice.
To their winter meeting in North Carolina, where he's going to shake up the Republican Party. But he's an excellent, excellent attorney. You can reach him at FeynmanLaw.com. He's also a brilliant author. His most recent book is The Next Nightmare, which you could purchase at thenextnightmare.com or at Amazon.com. And it is about how political correctness is going to bring down our republic if we are not careful.
All right, it's Peter Feynman, FeynmanLaw.com. Again, good friend. He did a phenomenal job. And was he spooked, or will he?
Oh no,
do
he
this?
loved it.
Oh, he
Oh,
does.
he was like a kid in a candy
God.
store.
Oh,
He's
he
like,
wants to be a movie
during
star.
the break, he's like, "Hey, this going really well, don't you think?"
We're creating a lawyer monster.
And I said, well, if you enjoy doing it so much, I'm sure Tom would love to, have a Friday off or a Monday off and take a long weekend or something once in a while. Maybe you could sub for him.
Well, where it could be applicable, depending on his schedule, because he's got a crazy schedule too. There are some of these targeted events that would be good. I get these invitations, and I got to turn a lot down because
Right.
we're here. But there's some targeted stuff that it's very simple. we're trying to maximize the donor's money, the advertiser's money,
Right.
and have the largest hit impact that we can.
Right.
And this is a big megaphone.
Right.
But some of these personal events where you go, like this one I was at this weekend, the South Carolina Tea Party, the interpersonal relationships and the planning with people, and we took a lot of that away.
Right.
That's very strategic. And right now, jumping ahead to our next hour, teasing it,
Okay.
right now it looks like we can organize Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina,
Oh, really?
and Texas in a unique way with the conservative movement, the Tea Party movement, and the counter-jihad movement to be a force multiplier in terms of hitting the cultural mandate to save the West and the political mandate to change the laws or suppress Islamic or any foreign law. So there's some good things on the drawing board. It's an exciting time to be
I
doing
can't
this.
wait to hear more about it.
One of the mechanisms that's going to help tremendously is Tea Party Solutions. I mean, Tea Party Tribune. No. Tea Party Community.
Tea
I
Party-
got all kinds of Tea Party things here.
No, it's a Tea Party community,
Right.
and it's absolutely fabulous. Once you take a look at it.
Mary Webecki. Mary?
Yeah,
from
she
Savannah?
wants to
She's
join-
going nuts on the thing.
Well, I tell you
She's
what,
telling everybody
I
to
told,
do it.
I told Karen. I was talking to Karen about it, and I showed her about it. She goes, "Oh my God, this is fabulous! Oh, blah, blah, blah. You
And
can
this
do,
on
you can do."
Facebook, right?
It's similar to Facebook. It's similar to
Give a
Facebook.
25
He's been
word.
back
I
for
am.
not even an hour, and he's already shutting me up.
Give us a
Welcome home, honey.
when you pitch a movie in Hollywood, you got to have 25 words or less. Tell everybody what it is in 25 words or less.
It looks like Facebook, but it isn't Facebook. But with a lot more options, a lot more things you can do, and it's
And less
really
censorship.
cool. And
No censorship.
well, it's not for all liberals and everything. This is mainly for conservatives and for people who have a desire for a constitution, government, and doing what we do, and a whole bunch of other things. But
Cool. Is
I'll
it
tell you
gonna
about it.
is it gonna hit?
We're gonna talk a lot about that one day.
Is it gonna hit the Sharia stuff that we deal with?
Yes.
Is it going to hit the Sharia stuff that we're going to?
Are you
Yes.
going to hit the Sharia
Is it gonna
It's
stuff?
gonna hit the
Sharia
Sharia
stuff.
stuff. That was a cue, Mike.
Is it going to hit the Sharia stuff? Is it going to hit the Sharia stuff? Is it going? There we go.
And now it's time for a tune.
My Sharia. My Sharia. Never gonna stop or give it up. Killing infidels, always got it
You
planned.
sing it?
Underhand, give a yell.
This lady dancing on the carpet just cracks me up.
This guy cracks me up more. See,
Yeah, we need to have him louder.
My Sharia.
all right, what do you got for us, Mark? In the Reliance of the Traveler, the Muslim Law Book. What do you
Well,
got?
this goes right to the Book of Justice, and where all of Islam is actually based out of. It's actually out of Surah 1:112. Now, what I learned in our little conference is every Muslim in the world knows this surah, and it says
What is a surah?
A surah is like the chapter and
It's
verse
like
in the Bible.
chapter and
Another,
verse in
another
the
term for
Bible,
chapter.
yeah.
Surah is another.
So
We're,
And it's
we're,
chapter 1,
1:112.
verse 112.
we're
Okay.
teaching the audience. Surah is just
Okay.
another word for chapter.
And here it is. Say, He is Allah, the one and only, Allah, the eternal, absolute. He begets not, nor is he begotten, and there is none like him unto him. So that means all Christians are crazy if they believe in Jesus,
We have a clash
because
of gods, yeah. We have
it's a
clash of
total
titans.
clash of gods, and he is the one and only. He's never begot or begotten, stuff like this. So that is their main core absolute difference.
This is
So when
beautiful.
all these peaceful bridge builders want to say, we're all the same and Islam is just a religion and we all worship the same God and everything else.
BS. Get the
Right.
BS
Don't.
meter out.
and that's
Right.
the reason they have problems with the Trinity and everything else. I mean, when they look at Christians, they think that Christians are insane because they believe what they're thinking absolute.
Well, this is real. I'll give you a quick little theology lesson. This is really, read that again slowly. It's very, very important, this verse.
Say He is Allah. Now Allah means the greatest above
greatest,
gods,
yes.
all gods.
Yep.
Okay, above Christian, Jewish, all gods. Allah is the
Allahu
greatest.
Akbar doesn't mean God is great. It means
God is greatest.
Right, it's the top guy.
Okay,
Right.
the
That's
Allah
why
is greatest,
Muhammad Ali became Muhammad Ali, right?
the one and only.
I am the greatest.
Allah, the eternal and absolute. He begets not. That means he has no children. He is not begotten. He wasn't
He's
born from
eternal.
anything.
He's eternal.
He wasn't born from anything. And there is none like unto him. Meaning, he has no son. He has no anything.
right.
He can never have anything. So
The this is absolutely a clash of the titans. I mean, here this is an existential battle playing out in the heavenlies. You have the Jewish God revealed in Jewish scripture,
right.
and monotheistic God over against all the pagans, and then the nation of Israel's job was to reveal that. Then in Christianity, the Messiah comes along, Christ. We don't say the God is different. We talk about Christ. So the Christians believe in the same God as the Jews believe in, two gods. We differ on the Messiah. But now you have somebody that's saying both of these, this third group, Islam comes along, 7th century, 6th century, late 6th century, and says the Jews and the Christians, their view of God is wrong, our view is right. You don't have to be a logical genius or a logician to see that you've got one God over here of the Jews and Christians. Forget about the argument over the Messiah. We can do that later. We're just talking the Godhead. You've got the Godhead over here of Jews and Christians, and then you have Islam saying their God is not the God we're talking about. So you can't have it both ways, folks. Either Jews and Christians have the right God or Muslims have the right God. And that's the starting point.
Yeah, I
for
just
all
want to
of this.
reiterate. The point was what I learned. I did not know this. That every Muslim in the world, if they know nothing about Islam,
They know that.
they
first
know
verse.
that verse by heart in Arabic, by heart, and
Don't
they
they
memorize
pray that one 5 times a day?
And that's the one they know by heart, all of them.
Yep. That is amazing, and we have a serious clash. So what does that do to what do we have?
No,
Your point. What?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, and the fact that that's what the core of what they believe leads them to want to kill the rest of us. Okay, we believe in a different God, but we're not looking to kill everybody who doesn't believe in the same God as we do. The fact is, if you don't believe 1-1-12 there, that's it.
Yep.
That's it. That's
You're
the end of the
gone.
game.
You're gone.
That's the
You're
end
done
of the
You're
game.
gone.
You're-
That's it.
that's the core.
There's no way you can build a bridge to that. It's a conversation ender. Period.
And it makes a lot of sense. If you buy into that presupposition, then you have to either kill or have the other side submit. There is no option.
Well, and here's what I was talking with Alan. It was kind of I said, Alan, you know, as Jewish, what do you think of this? He says, you know what? We believe in one God, but we just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
He goes, just leave us alone. He goes, Christians, they believe in a Jesus, and they'll try to convert you,
Yeah.
but they ain't gonna kill you. He goes, Islam, if you don't do what they say, you have to either submit to them or die. He goes, and that's the whole key difference between all three of the religions.
Yeah, I mean, the Inquisition was a really long time ago.
No,
and
but it's
most of
important.
us are over it now.
No, but it's still important. When Christians were killing people for not converting to their faith and all of that, there were state directions to a lot of that stuff, and it had nothing. It was completely opposite the teachings of the New Testament. Had nothing to do with the New. There's nowhere in the New Testament where
says submit
Jesus
or die.
says, if someone doesn't believe, kill them. Just the
Right.
opposite. He said, I will give my life for people who don't believe.
Right.
It's just the opposite. So all of the abuses of Christianity were in opposition to the teaching of Christianity. Very important point.
Okay. Versus in
Versus
Islam.
It's the doctrine
Doctrine.
of Islam.
Yes.
It's everything.
Sure.
It's the
Yes.
Quran, stupid.
This is why, folks. It's the Quran, it's Surah 112, stupid. This is why idiot Democrats lining up, or Republicans or whomever, idiot Christians, idiot Jews lining up with Muslims in this interfaith stuff. if you're gonna go hunting in dangerous ground, or if you're gonna travel on dangerous ground, at least be aware of what the real facts are, and you're not. We got 1 minute.
Well, this is a very important point. I actually coming out. I used to no, don't go to the interfaith dialogues. Blah 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 blah. I'm actually coming out the other way, saying no.
Let's go get 'em, man.
Let's go after into the interfaith dialogues. But if you're going to go in there, go armed. If you're a Christian, be armed in Christian theology. Mm-hmm. If you're going to go in there as a Jew, be armed in Jewish theology, and therefore, take them out and show the flaws.
I met a guy, an Indian from India, who's been doing this for 30 years. He goes, I do all kinds of interfaith. He goes, I do a number on the Muslims like you can't believe. They think they're coming in, they're going to get me.
They're going to come in
and I lay
get
out
me.
stuff to them. This guy's tremendous. He's like IQ Al Rassoul. He's one of those kind of guys. And we will have, he'll come on the show, he said.
Oh, good.
We'll be right back. We're talking about Christian, Islam, all kinds of stuff, and the Tea Party coming up right now.
Hi, I'm Duke Liberatore.
And I'm Dr. Jan McBaron.
We're a husband and wife team.
And together we host the #1 health talk show in the nation,
Duke and the Doctor.
You can hear our show weekday mornings at 10 here on WWNN AM 1470 Health and Wealth Radio.
We'll discuss up-to-date health news, give away gifts, share in a laugh or two, and answer health questions from our callers.
So